All right, Ivan, how you doing?
I'm good, Joe. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for coming to my show.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to able to connect with you with this channel of yours, and I'm excited.
Thank you so much. World need your motivation and your knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you. So can you introduce my followers who you are, please?
Sure. My name is Ivan Miskiv or Ivan Miskiv, and I am a lifestyle and movement coach where I focus on movement, nutrition, and mindset. And so I help busy professionals in their 30s and 40s kind of accomplish this through building lifelong habits in a sustainable way.
Thank you.
And also, just to add, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I also teach at the University of Toronto. I am a sessional lecturer. So I teach in the kinesiology department. And yeah, I'm also that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why one of the big reason I invite you today. U of T is one of the best school in Canada, right?
Correct.
And then you teach physically kinesiology, right?
Correct.
Good. So let's get to the point. Benefit of a full squat. This is like, you go ahead, yeah.
No, I was just saying, like, I first encountered like the full squat. Like, you mean like the deep squat position, the low, low, low one?
Yeah, like like a lot of people still, even nowadays, oh my God, oh, you cannot make your knee forward your toe, and then first squat bad for your knee. Some people, right? Some people, not everybody, but in your knowledge as you teach kinesiology, right? And you do full squat all the time.
Yes. Yes.
So what is the benefit of a full squat?
Well, first and foremost, from a kinesiology point of view and body wise and structure, we all have different bone lengths. We all have different ways of placing our feet in a squat position. And so you can't say, oh, you can't go past your toes with your knees, because some people who are taller or have longer fibula and tibulas, they can actually get down without actually getting their knees over their toes. And it isn't a bad thing. It's only bad when that knee potentially is not in line with the toes. So when you kind of let the knee cave in or kind of go outwards, and that's going to really affect someone's knee health. But going straight over your toes and going past your toes, there's been no research. It's kind of a myth that's been passed on from somewhere, and there hasn't been an area where people now are trying to promote that, okay, having this position isn't so bad for you. And so back to your point about the full squat, I kind of first encountered this obviously through University of Toronto, but also watching Ido Portal. You probably have heard of him or maybe know about him. But back in 2013, I kind of came across this full squat position. I kind of got interested. I was like, this is something that you don't see too often, but many cultures, this is their resting position. When they're out there playing their games, they're working, this is comfortable for people. And I was telling myself, I can't even get down to that position, and it was painful. And so the full squat is something that I've worked towards, and the benefits have been, you can't put a price on it. Like, it's just my mobility in my ankles have improved. My lower back has decompressed and relieved the pain there. Digestion has improved because when you sit down, that colon gets lengthened. It's easier to have bowel and good, healthy gut to allow yourself to go to the washroom and do those things a lot easier when you have a proper bowel movement.
Yeah, also like NBA player, someone who jump a lot, and especially BMO, the strength and the stability is very important for the jumping and prevent knee injury, right?
100%.
And then like one of the best ways to stretch your calf complex is actually full squat position.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And it goes to a point, like, I wouldn't recommend someone, for example, who gets in a full squat and then add lots of load, lots of weight. It's not very good. But if you're using your body weight and you're kind of getting that position very comfortably, that's okay. But when you are trying to say, like you're saying, an athlete wants to improve their jump height, I would make sure that when they're going in a squat position, that they can still go over their toes, their knees, but their lower back, we don't want to have a curve. We want to keep it straight so that the hips are the ones getting stronger and we're not loading ourselves in the lower back, because with that weight, we can really cause damage long term.
Yeah. So, but you know, when I go to the playground, okay, every single babies, every single like little kid, it doesn't matter, Asian kid, white kid, it doesn't matter. They do full squat beautifully,
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah.
But everyone, toe position a little bit different, knee position a little bit different. Everybody's a little bit different, but fitness industry, like you should do this way. Like,
Yeah, no, there is no perfect squat position. Like you can't say you have to be shoulder width apart or you have to have your toes straight.
yeah,
It's
everybody, yeah,
whatever's comfortable.
everyone's hip socket is different looking, right? And then also the other one, I see that people, because even you have a longer femur, you try not to your knee past your toe, and then also, you know, butt wink, like, oh, you shouldn't do butt wink. You have to really make your back straight, and then too much tension your erector spine cause actually back pain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
naturally.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah,
And I think the issue with a lot of people now, especially as you get older, we've lost our ability to have a range of motion there. So because we're always sitting down in a chair and we're constantly being placed in this sort of 90-degree position. But why is this the best position? Why can't this be a little lower? Like why can't our knees be higher? And it's kind of caused ourselves to lose mobility, because think about it, 10, 15, 30, 40 years later, when you're always in that position, it's going to change how your hips move, how your knees move and ankles move.
absolutely. Also, if you only do 90 to go up, you have a good strength that position. But if you do below 90, the bottom position, a lot of people, you don't do that position, and then you don't have that strength, that range of motion. And when you get older, you fall.
For
A lot
sure.
of people, right? And then like emergency and
Yeah.
surgery, and then
Well, the
infection,
biggest
and you
issue
know,
people have when they get older, like the biggest thing is strength. They lose their strength, and then the mobility.
absolutely,
Also,
absolutely.
elderly population who do get injured a lot is that they're not able to, like you said, get into these positions that might seem awkward, but they're not used to that. And then when they get in a position, they have no strength to come back out of it.
Yeah. So how we, if you can do full squat, so what would you recommend? How we practice full squat gradually?
There's a combination of things, but I would first work on just trying to see how it feels like. So before you try to do different variations, I would first recommend trying it out and just seeing where maybe some painful points you feel. And I know for when I first began, it was my front shins, the tibialis anterior, the muscle there was very, very, very stiff. And also my lower back was just not used to those positions. So I would first tell people just to be aware of how it feels like. And then from there, if you are lacking your ankle, you're going to fall back. Maybe you kind of go and have a little bit of placement on your heels to kind of elevate your heels a little bit. So you can use like a wooden dowel or a little book or something at home, and then that will help with your ankle mobility. And that's one way you can do it. You can also just hold on to something. Like if you just want to get comfortable and just hold on to a bar so you won't fall back, just to be in that position. And then through time and through practice, it'll get a lot easier.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now let's go to your health. What's your morning routine looks like?
So over the past couple of years, I kind of tweaked it a little bit. I always want to improve it a little bit, but overall it's been the same. I kind of get up around 6 o'clock in the morning. And usually what I do first thing is drink a glass of water. That's the most important, I think, for me. And from what I've been helping clients with, and just a lot of the research out there being said, that improves and wakes up your metabolism. It cleans out your liver, and then from there kind of wakes up the body and the process to start your day. And then from there, obviously, you go do your business if you need to. And then I kind of like to spend the first half an hour. It can be meditating, it could be reading a book. I usually prepare some tea or my yerba mate. It's like a tea from Argentina. I'm not sure if you know about it. And coffee once in a while. It depends on the day. I kind of keep it. I like to kind of change up my routine once in a while in that sense from what I drink. But majority of the time, I like to just be in my space, show gratitude, what has happened, things I want to improve upon, what can I do better to help not only myself, but people that I work with.
Yeah. And now, what's your training style? You are the person I never see you like getting fat. You are like consistent, super consistent. So what's your training style nowadays?
Thank you. Thank you. It's kind of morphed into a position now. I'm kind of maintaining a lot of things, and I find myself in the past, I've gone through many sorts of training, but right now I focus on three main things. I like to do calisthenics. So those like bodyweight workouts on rings or bars or just the ground, like just using my own body weight. I can also do that. I like that. I also like rock climbing and cycling. So those are like my three sort of, I think, big fields I kind of work with. And then I like to also just play, like have fun and play. So play different sports like soccer, frisbee, basketball when I have a chance. So that's kind of what my style's been, but I focus on a lot of calisthenics.
You do bicycle too. How many kilometers per week you do nowadays?
Oh man, I've done so far recently in the past 2 weeks, I've done over 340 kilometers.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. How you recover? How you recover?
It's actually pretty like I keep it simple, to be honest. I like to keep things simple, and for me, it's usually a nice cold shower after I come back, and really having good food afterwards is really important. A couple of like you want to have a nice little treat sometimes because you worked hard and you feel like it's a good sort of reward for that. But I always try to eat well after a good workout. Sleep is probably the most important, and so that's where your body's able to regenerate its muscle. Your adrenal fatigue as well happens a lot of times because when you are working so hard, you lose your adrenal fatigue, and you want to have that recovered with your sleep. So a combination of good nutrition, rehydration as well is really important, and then having really good sleep.
Amazing. Now, if you can only do 10 minutes a day rest of your life, what kind of a movement or exercise you will do? Only 10 minutes.
That's a good question. I was thinking about that recently, and I was like, I think for me, if I had to choose one exercise, it would be like a straight arm hang on a bar or ring, just to hang. And the
For
reason
10
for
minutes?
that, yeah, the reason for that, I like it because it does so many things for you. It improves your shoulder mobility, right, and your strength in that shoulder, your grip strength, which is really important. It works on your core stability and strength as well. It works on decompressing your spine, which is really, really important. And so if I had to choose one, I would choose that one.
Only one 10 minutes you're hanging?
I can do it not for 10 minutes straight, but it's a goal of mine to still achieve a 10 minutes. I've had a record for, I think it was 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, but I like that one. I also like, of course, the full squat position is also really important. And I also like just to move on the ground. Like there's you probably heard of it, is the lizard walk, which is a nice sort of movement where you're moving your upper body along with your lower body and your core. So it's a really full body coordination, stability, mobility exercise where you're really challenging different areas, but also it gives you a sense of what maybe is not correct. So maybe you are a little weaker in your left side or right side. So when you do a lot of these body weight movements, you become a lot more aware of what's going on.
What about, so when you do that movement, what do you think about your heart rate will be? The range?
For which one? The lizard push-up?
Yeah, or 10 minutes. So what's your goal for your heart rate?
I see. Definitely to get to, not to a point where I'm exhausted. So I think there's moments where you want to push yourself and really go for it. But I would say it's generally between, like, if I would say my maximum is 100%, I want to kind of be between 60, 70%. So 130, maybe 140, like something around there. Nothing too great, but I can also push it if I want to. But I think generally speaking, right now where I am, I don't want to go that much.
Sounds very balanced and very healthy.
Thank you.
Just like you. So now let's go to the your secret your nutrition. Nothing
Oh,
secret. So what is your nutrition style like? Amazing your nutrition.
thank you, thank you.
Okay.
It's I've kind of spoken to you before recently about it, but for me, it's kind of evolved over the years. And in the past 6 years, I've been following intermittent fasting. And the one I kind of follow, I like to follow the best is that daily intermittent fasting. So it's usually about 16 to 18 hours of not eating, fasting, and then six, maybe 5 hours or 6 to 8 hours of eating. So the window to eat is that time frame. And so I've been following that for a while, and it fits my lifestyle very well because I like the morning. I like the morning to kind of just recover. The body's able to relax a little bit. You relax your stomach, you relax your mind. And then also when I work out, I like to work out on an empty stomach. So this really works well for me.
Amazing. 2 weeks ago, Niagara, right? I had 5 apples. And day before I had 20 cups of rice. Like, well, you did 18-hour fasting and then whole ride, you didn't eat anything.
No, just water.
Yeah.
Water. But the key there, Joe, is that you have to eat well night before. So if you eat well night before and you sleep really well, for me, that really works well. So when you don't have that going for you, like you said, having enough good carbs, a good balance of protein and fat the night before, then you're able to really do well for your activity.
Yeah. For myself, I tried it before. I did 3 days fasting, water fast. My blood glucose was 3.8 millimolar per liter.
Okay,
And I did workout too.
there you go.
Yeah, a lot of people like crazy. Oh my God, like should I eat or and then drink orange juice to do workout? But I can do only 5 push-ups. You can.
Yeah, I think people just they hear things and they assume they have to do something. But no, like a lot of times back to my point about awareness, you have to understand, okay, maybe this works for one person, but for you, maybe you prefer this, and maybe trying something else might be better for you. And you don't know unless you actually try and do a small experiment to see which is the best. Do I need to drink before my workout or after, or do I need to work out this time or this time?
So how about supplement?
Supplements is I haven't recently been using a lot of supplements. Before I used to, there was this time frame where I would just use like it all. I would go for goji berries and chia seeds and flax seeds. But recently, the past, I would say about 5 years, I feel like I don't consume any supplements at this time. Of course, maybe for winter when you don't have the sun, vitamin D, that's really important, especially in north and in like the higher you are north of the hemisphere, it can be a little bit colder and less sun. So you got to have the vitamin D. That's important. But I believe that if you're able to understand like your gut health and consume good, nutritious, unprocessed foods, that's all your body really needs. It's the people I find that go to supplements is that it's their first solution. And I tell my clients that it should be your last solution, right? If you eat well, if you are conscious of how you're eating, if you're having distribution, you don't need supplements. And I think it's good to have maybe for emergencies. Maybe you're on the rush, you're traveling, you're on the go. And I understand people are always going to be busy now coming back after this COVID. They're going to go back out and trying to go back to traveling. And so when you have that case, then maybe supplements will help you out.
What do you don't eat?
What do I don't eat?
Yeah.
I eat everything. I can eat everything. I choose
Why,
to.
why sugar?
No, I don't eat too much white sugar. Maybe once in a while, like you can have it when you go out and stuff and you buy different treats. But I would say I can eat anything, but I choose to reduce certain foods. For example, I don't eat as much meat anymore. I think I'm about 85% vegetarian. And so I like to just consume meats once in a while because I still like to have a balance. I don't want to have full restrictions. So with intermittent fasting, that's the beauty of it, is that you can actually eat anything within that time frame. But eventually, when you are kind of in this time frame, you feel like you want to eat good foods, and it kind of makes you into that sort of idea of eating better for yourself.
Yeah. After the Niagara ride, you had a beautiful food, right? What did you eat?
It was my sort of reward meal. You can kind of call it, but it's a French toast that I like to make. I kind of put the French toast on like eggs on both sides, and I lightly pan fry it with coconut oil, and then I add cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon. That's my key difference. A lot of cinnamon these days are not done processed correctly, and they come from a lot of different countries that you don't know how it's made. But Ceylon cinnamon, the taste is impeccable. It's nutritious, it's very nutrient dense. And then I add some fruits and maple syrup. And if I have some peanut butter, almond butter, I add that.
Because you deserve it, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah. I'm not an anti-carbohydrate person. You gotta deserve your carb.
For sure. You have to earn it. You have to earn it and deserve it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. So now if you can only eat 5 to 7 things rest of your life, what would you eat and why?
Oof. I was thinking about this, and I was just thinking about it now recently, but I think for me, if someone always asked me like the one thing I love to have would be coconuts. So because it has everything you need to survive. It has the coconut water, it has the meat, it has that balance that you can kind of get. You can put in your skin, in your hair. It's really nutritious. Number two, I would say is quinoa. It's a complete protein. It has all the nutrients you need from the protein perspective. It's really nutrient dense, so you're going to be satisfied, and it really provides you with that feeling of feeling full. Right, you're going to eat something that's going to be really nutritious and give you so much benefits. Number three, I would say is avocados. Avocados are also very, as you can tell, two fats already, right? Coconuts and avocados. People don't think that fats are they're bad for them, right? But if you control those and understand the value of those two fats, it can provide you a lot of benefit. And I also like medjool dates. So this is something that I find really effective and important, because when you're looking for a quick burst of energy and maybe you're on a long run or a bike ride, and you want something that's energizing, instead of going for those bars and all these kind of processed stuff, having a date is super nutritious. It goes right into your bloodstream. It's converted very quickly into usable energy. So it's super, super important. And then finally, I would say I like walnuts. So that's a very complete nut. It helps to lower your LDL, so your bad cholesterol, and it's a good source of omega-3 fats.
Nice. Very nice. No Snickers?
No Snickers. Even though I bought it, it's funny. I bought it for the bike trip when I went to that last part, and I didn't have it. I didn't eat it. I had these two Snickers that I bought, and I didn't consume. I just didn't feel it.
One of my clients gave it to me, maple syrup. I had it, but I didn't. I kept it, but I didn't eat it.
I see. Yeah.
I like to go like a whole food.
Of course, I think so.
That thing is like ETN, like.
Exactly. And I feel like now, even though if I even maybe bite something, my teeth hurt, like the whole body just doesn't react well with all these processed and chemicals.
So now, how you monitor your health?
So I do blood work annually, and if things are maybe not feeling, maybe something has happened, I do maybe biannually, but mostly I kind of compare. I have a tracker that I compare from year to year or bi-yearly based on how things are going. And to be honest, like I monitor my health daily just to see how I feel, right? You check in to see how you're feeling. How's your energy level? How's your mood? I don't remember the last time I was sick. I don't remember. So that's been many, many years. And I've also recently purchased a smartwatch to kind of just to see my level of heart rate and my sleep, just kind of compare that with different levels. And just to, like, again, back to the awareness point, you can't make changes to your life if you don't know where you're starting from. So people are quick to like, oh, I got to do this change or this change and this, but then they're not really understanding of what actually needs to be changed.
What's your morning resting heart rate?
According to the watch here, I'll tell you, It says here 40 beats per minute.
Average people like, 72 if you are healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Like, oh, you are close to Lance Armstrong. Lance
yeah,
Armstrong 38.
between 40 and 45 is kind of my average, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. Is it always been like that or recently like
I
that?
haven't really checked in the past, but I think like recently in the past couple of years that I've noticed by looking at just my watch, it's been about, yeah, that average. And I was kind of like, oh, that's nice to know.
Amazing. Amazing. In your knowledge and experience, what is the most important thing for our quality and longevity of life?
I think a big part of that is trying to be active daily, right? I think trying to some kind of activity, whether it's a walk, whether it's doing a squat, or whether it's just playing your sport, whatever you like to do, being active in some way every day is very important. And then having that with the balance of a good nutrition, right? And again, not everyone's gonna be perfect, and I'm not perfect, and you're not perfect. I think we all have our good days and bad days, but overall speaking, if you have a well-balanced nutrition, that's going to be very important. And then finally, I always tell clients this, and yourself included, is good quality sleep, right? Because that kind of completes the whole thing. If you're doing very good activity level, that's awesome. If you're eating well, that's awesome. But sleeping very poorly, that's not going to give you the benefits, because you work so hard in these other two areas, but the third part hasn't completed the whole cycle. And I think at the end of the day, with all those are important, but then stress level, right? Trying to control that amount of bad stress, because we have good stress, right? Once in a while, it's good to have good stress, but when you have the bad stress constantly happening, that's going to really affect everything that you try to accomplish.
So what is a good stress and what is a bad stress?
So good stress would be, for example, working out, right? You're elevating your heart rate. You're looking at your heart rate. You're at 170. You're sweating. That is stress, but it's a positive stress if you are enjoying the exercise. Maybe some people don't enjoy certain things, but if you are enjoying it, you're having a good time, you're smiling, you're positive, that's going to be a good stress. And once in a while, that's a great thing to have. But you also don't want to overstress that. So that can be a bad stress at the same time when you are working out 7 days a week at very, very high capacity for a very long time. That's bad stress.
I like to work out 7 days a week. Is it okay? But I don't work out too hard nowadays. Is it
Yeah,
okay?
that's okay. You can definitely work out 7 days a week. And again, for you, you might have different levels where you have one day it's a little bit harder, one day it's a little easier. But if you do 7 days completely all tough, you're stressing yourself, and you feel bad if you miss a workout. All these kind of negative stresses will really affect how your body performs.
Exactly, exactly. A lot of people, ask me this question. So, like, when is day off?
So what do you say for them when you say what's the day off?
Well, if you exercise hard, you need a more day off, right? But I do very little every day, tiny little bits. I love to do every single day, right? So you can only rest if you do hard enough, right?
Yes.
Most people, like, okay, now I want your answer. Yeah.
Well, no, most people like on the notion of that is they would work hard for one day and then have to rest for 3 days because it's so tired, it's so sore, and that's not very effective. Like I'd rather have you consistently work out every day, like I said before, being active, versus one day very hard and then you're resting for 2 or 3 days because you're so sore you can't bend your elbows, right? That's not good. So understanding your level and then working at your level, and you have to slowly build up that tolerance to get to where you need to go.
Exactly. Now, so now I feel very confident because I've been healthy for a while, and then like no sick, and then no pain here and there. I think I'm gonna live like 90 to 128, no problem, unless I get an accident or what something happened, right? But that I cannot do. As far as something I can do, I have very much confidence I can maintain this body like long time. So what do you think about your like longevity?
So it's funny you say that, because in university, when I was in my first year, one of our teachers was asking us like what is our life goal? And at the time, I forget what I said, but he said, I want to be the fittest 100-year-old. And I'm like, I like that. I want to do one better. I want to go 101. So my goal at the time was to be the fittest 101-year-old out there. So I think I can accomplish that if I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm very, very happy with what I'm doing. And I think that having that understanding and working within your limits, and back to my big thing there is balance and moderation, right? If you're able to do that and have a range of things that you can use in your toolbox, so you're mobile, you have some strength, you have some endurance, you have some flexibility. Those are all going to be important versus just focusing on one thing.
Exactly. So if you can meet 20 years over yourself, what kind of advice you will give yourself?
20 years in the future?
No,
Oh,
not
before.
future. Yeah, use a time machine.
I
So
see.
yeah, your university.
Yeah, I think try to believe in yourself. I think a lot of people don't believe in themselves. Like, it's normal to have fear or doubt in what you can do and your potential. And so never give up. I would always tell people that just try to persevere, and then also follow your passion, right? Whatever your passion is, try to make that your career. A lot of people kind of go into careers thinking that this is where I make the most money, or this is what I should be doing. My parents told me this, but no, they will not enjoy that once they're in that business or that career. So it's really important to find your passion and then make that your career.
Amazing. How has a failure or apparent failure set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure of yours?
Recently, I'm not sure if I told you, but I went online since 2019. I went to Spain to live there for a year. And so I left everything behind. I had my work, I had my clients. And so I went for that experience to live abroad. And at that time, I had no work, and I was looking for work. And so I was telling myself, okay, let me go online. I did this course, and I kind of understood how to do this online training. And once I did that course, and I thought to myself, okay, this may be possible. And it was hard because those first couple of weeks, I kept getting no clients. I was like, wow, this is difficult. I'm not maybe good at this. It's not for me. But I kept persevering, and I finished a course. And then I did my first sort of challenge of getting new clients, and it worked. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually possible. And so that really motivated me to continue. And now I've been fully online since 2019.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. What is one of the best or most worthwhile investment you've ever made? Could be like money or time or energy.
I think traveling. I think looking back at my past maybe 10, 12 years, I've invested in traveling, and I definitely put a lot of time and energy and money into that. And it's been the most rewarding experience, because you hear two sides. You hear people say, oh, when I get older, I will travel. But that never usually happens. Maybe you have kids, or maybe you have an injury, God forbid, or something, right? But I feel that I had the opportunity to do it. I was very fortunate. I saved some money. And so for me, traveling, it opened my eyes to so many different cultures, different languages, experiences, how people were living, right? And that really enhanced my understanding, because I was able to bring that back to where I live. And now I feel like having this sort of multicultural experience and feelings towards all these different places I visited has made me understand how fortunate we are to live here in Toronto, but also what is out there and what's the potential in other places.
Amazing, amazing. Great job, great job. What are bad recommendations you hear in your professional area of expertise?
Well, we kind of already mentioned your knees past your toes. That's one. I think diets and like detoxing. I think that's the word commonly used. A lot of people say, "Oh, go on this 30-day diet or a 21-day cleanse, and your body is an amazing detox. Like, it can clean itself out, right? And it knows how to do that properly. And back to the diets, you don't want to go through all these restrictions, because you have to listen to your body, and you have to understand what it needs, and that only comes through practice, but it doesn't come through restrictions. And then I think kind of touched upon it earlier, was that don't train hard, train smart, right? Like your case, you're training smart because you're training every day a little bit. You're moving your body in a very healthy and efficient way. But people think that you've got to go to the gym, go all out, and then they're going to be tired, like we mentioned earlier. So just training smart is really important.
Yeah, last Sunday I didn't train after Niagara.
Yeah.
And last week, actually, I only trained one.
There you go.
Tuesday.
Smart.
Because that's not normally my thing. Yeah. Like, and then I did something big impact, right? And then 1 week to recover.
Like, for example, even me for today, I went yesterday for another Niagara ride. So after the ride, I did my normal recovery. And then this morning, I just didn't have the energy to do my normal workout. So I just went outside just to move the body, right? Did a couple of movements here and there, versus sitting down doing nothing. That's going to be a lot worse. So get your body through some movement, but not to the point where I'm going to be normally, which would be my Monday, I would do a workout, but there was no need for that. You have to listen to the body.
Active rest, right? Yeah. Then, other people ask, me or you, when they need a rest. Yes, you need to earn your rest and not completely rest, right? Move your body.
Exactly. And it could be just a simple thing as just up and down the stairs. If you press for time, or just get on the floor and get back up off the floor, like that movement of you changing your body position is going to do so much, just rather than sitting in a chair and getting up and going to bed. Like those are not going to be active movements. And so just trying to get yourself in different positions is really important.
Exactly. So now, what are the top 3 most common reasons your client come and see you?
I think for me, they come for me because they know that I'm knowledgeable, right? I both have the theory and also the practice. So I try to bridge the two together. Like, you can have all this theory, reading all these books and have all this knowledge, which is great, but then you don't have the practice component, right? Actually applying that knowledge. And then with my field of kinesiology, we're looking at being proactive in healthcare, right? Now, we're not looking at the reactive. So physiotherapists, chiropractors, all great, but they're looking much more at a reactive healthcare system approach, while kinesiology is much more of a proactive approach. So we're trying to invest money for people or their health up front, so that later on when they get older, they don't have to invest way more money, because it gets very expensive when you do have a spine injury or a shoulder injury or a neck injury.
Exactly.
And then also, I think for me, another one is that they come to me because they failed. They tried different diets and they failed, right? They don't do well with them. Exercise not going well for them, they're always in pain, or they have an injury of some sort, and they're kind of feeling discouraged. They've kind of given up hope. And then my final one I find is that people find me very trustworthy. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I feel that I'm very empathetic. And people tell me that you're a good listener, you're able to understand my needs, and I put myself in their shoes and try to understand what they're going through. Because I have also been in my own health journey, and you probably maybe don't know, but I was overweight and I was eating very unhealthy for so many years. And so I can really relate to a lot of clients because I was in a lot of my clients' shoes before.
When was it? Because I know you since like 2000, like what, 7, 8, 9, right?
Yeah, 2009. Or yeah, 2009 was when we met. A good.
So when yeah, you already like fit at the time.
Yeah, I was pretty fit at that time. I think before, it was kind of at the point where I was finishing up sort of high school. So it was like I was probably like around 15, 16 when I was at my biggest weight. And it was a moment where I was like, okay, I have to change this for myself because no one's going to help me. And I was almost about 205 pounds at that time. Yeah. So it was a big change, and a lot to do with getting better actively, but also nutrition was a huge change in my lifestyle.
Amazing, amazing. What is your plan for next 6 months to 2 years?
Next 6 months to 2 years, that's a good point. That's a good question. I think for me, a big part is to further develop my online business, right? I want to constantly grow and get better, and maybe also hire a coach or two from the kinesiology department at U of T. I want to hire students who are coming out of the program and give them opportunity to help other people in this fitness and health industry. And also, I'm always going to be, for me, I'm always going to be a learner, right, for life. And so doing courses, studying, reading books, and just practicing all that in real life. So actually applying that into things I do on a daily basis.
What is the one thing you know or you practice is a really, really good thing to know or practice, but other health and wellness fitness professional, they don't do it. So you think they should do it?
I think a lot of people just focus on one aspect. Maybe it's just training, right? And that's an important component, but it's only one part of the puzzle. And I think people who are starting off their business in training is that, yes, it's important to understand someone's fitness level, but there's a whole other aspects that are just as important, if not more important. So understanding your client and maybe focusing on their nutrition instead, right? And focusing on their sleep or their water intake or whatever it may be, but understanding that there's many more puzzles that are attached to the bigger pie.
Nice, nice. How people can find you?
So people can find me on my website. So it is ivanmiskiv.com. They can find me on my social media platforms. So I have an Instagram account, Ivan Miskiv Fitness. I also have a LinkedIn account and a Facebook account as well.
Yeah, I will put your information to this show note.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. So is there anything you want to say, final word for the world?
I think, well, first and foremost, thank you, Joe, for your time and for organizing this. I really appreciate it. And I think for those listening, for the viewers of Joe who are listening, it's never too late to start, right? People think that, oh, I'm too old, or I don't have this, or don't have this. Your journey can start whenever you want to start, right? The key is just to start somewhere, and that will kind of create momentum to continue going forward. And so just start. It doesn't matter how it looks like take imperfect action. It doesn't have to always be perfect. Our world is not perfect. So just try to understand that and start with something.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your knowledge and your wisdom and energy.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.